morning, good night, wherever you are in the world. This is Dan Anderson, being very, very pleased to be on this webinar. Now, we're kind of full of people on this course. We've got me here, Magudia, as well as Andy Hansen in the background, and I'm going to call on those two people to come on board. What we don't have at the moment is me here's PowerPoints. I'm seeing some sort of meeting screen there. But all good. So I haven't been on the call for a couple of weeks here now, so it's very, very cool to be back and be able to sort of find time in the schedules. It's just been a scheduling thing, and I've been between meetings and this, that, the other. We are working like absolutely crazy on some very important projects, and this is my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But as always, it's very, very nice to see people from all over the world on the call, all sorts of nationalities, all sorts of names, all sorts of places. So I think we're running our normal 15, 20 countries on the call. And I still can't see the PowerPoints, me here.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
I can see the moon and the stars. There you go. There we have it. A picture. Yes, this is a sadly out-of-date picture of me, because these days I'm actually sporting a little beard, which we'll show you later on in the presentation here in the GAM. But so we're going to talk about the Leaders Summit, the Directors Program, Leo Gold, Digital Market Service, Leo Exchange, and in the news and events. And we got some very, very good stuff. Apologies for being a few minutes late on this call, because we were running the Chinese one between the British summer time and what have you. So they go back to back now. So if we go over an hour on that, then it knocks on here, so we won't do that again. But the thing that I want to talk about first is, if I can forward. No, I don't seem to have the ability to forward the slides, because me here has got control of the slides. Where is he? There we are. Request keyboard and mouse control. Yeah, without further ado, if we just go to the next slide, me here, then that's it. Why not?
Yeah.
The overall state of play in the business at the moment is very, very positive, because I've been really, really busy on a couple of things that I've been working on. And while 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, that would have been a huge issue, today we have a business that just carries on and it grinds forward, if you like. And part of that is the leadership that we've been able to create in Leo. And with that leadership, I kind of include people like me here and people like Andy Hansen on the corporate side, as well as our field leaders who do what they do. And so as we go forward in time, as the business goes into its next 5 years, we will see that leadership getting more and more consolidated, more and more strong. And towards that, we want to start doing these leaders summits all over the world. And the first one that we're going to kick off with here now, the next one I should say, is in the UK in September. And it's very, very clear that this has grabbed the imagination of our field. People are very, very excited at the thought of coming to the UK, because we are a British company. We've always been very proud of our British brand, if you like, and albeit that I'm a Swedish person who've got our business has got 20 people of different nationalities on the corporate side. Essentially, though, we are a British company in terms of our corporate structure, in terms of how we built the business. And it would be very nice to take our leaders to the UK and show them the best. When we are the hosts for our leaders coming in from all over the world, to show them the best of what the UK has to offer. So there's going to be some very, very special programs in terms of London, and in terms of the Tower of London, in terms of Stonehenge, in terms of Blenheim Palace, in terms of all of these things that we can play hosts at, if you like. And I'm very, very proud about that. There's going to be not all play. All play makes Jack a very dull boy. We also have to have some work, so we're going to do a all-day conference at the UK headquarters for these leaders. So this is someone, the people who qualify here for this, they're people who really are leaders and can put something together, because you have to sponsor a new person and help him go to associate, and then you are qualified for this. And we already have a very, very strong list of qualifiers for it. And by the time this finishes, we will have the creme de la creme of 2018 in attendance in the UK. So very, very pleased about that. Now, the next thing that we're talking about here is, I believe, is something which is part of this leadership drive, because if the members are the heart of our business, that's what our business stands for, and this is one of the values that we have, then we have to look after the leaders, especially, or even when they get to the senior positions, and the directors program was always part of that philosophy, if you like. So this is now consolidated, it's kind of gone into the business, and it's working well across most of our cultures, if you like, the Chinese, the Pakistanis, the Middle Eastern, the Europeans, and people from all over the world are kind of getting the directors program now. And so let me just re-emphasize that this is for a working leader. It's a way for us to help him or her with their expenses. This is not a passive income thing. This is not something where you just get this money because you qualified as director. No, you have to have a business that you're working on and you're developing. And we measure that by having a weak leg that's producing something. And when the weak leg produces a network bonus, then you will also qualify for this. So the plan is the plan, and it tells you where to work. So when you have a weak leg, that's your income leg, and you work on that business, and you get your network bonus, and over and above your commissions from that and the other commissions in the plan, you will also get the directors program bonus. Now, there's a discretionary element to this. This is for the working leaders and the people that we have. How should I say? Maybe Andy, I could bring you on board here, because when we go out and travel into the market, me, Andy, and me here, we're always looking for leaders. And Andy has some very, very cool thoughts around this. If you are still here, Andy, that maybe you can share with the people.
Sure, Dan, and thanks. Great to be on the call. And good to hear you on the call as well. I know you've been very busy, but everyone does miss you. I get lots of messages. Where's Dan? Why is he not on the call? Anyway, when we're touring, it's always interesting, because obviously you're always, when you're developing a business, and that doesn't matter whether you're on the corporate side or whether you're a leader in the field, you're looking for leaders. Obviously you are, because businesses thrive with leadership when you're able to actually delegate work and not have to micromanage, and things happen, the results happen, and big things can happen when you have great teams like that. And I guess it's really summed up with LTR, and the L is for loyalty. And when you're looking at a network marketing company, when you're looking as a company looking for leaders in the field, you're always looking for that loyalty, because it's a two-way street. You know, there has to be loyalty from the corporation to all of you as members and leaders, and there has to be loyalty in reverse to the corporation for everything that they do for you. So that would be the first thing that we definitely look for, and I'd urge each and every one of you to always have that back in your mind. LTR, first one being loyalty that you're looking for. The second thing is trust, because so much in business has to be built on trust. And when the leaders and the members trust the corporation, when the corporation trusts the leaders to deliver the things they say they're going to, there's a big dynamic happens. And that's when you really start to create some momentum in the marketplace, which is obviously to everybody's benefit. It's to the benefit of the corporation, it's the benefit to you as members. And then the last one, the R, is for respect, because there has to be mutual respect. Mutual respect, so that the corporation will listen to the leaders will listen to the corporation, and it becomes almost a cooperative, or I don't want to say a conglomerate, but it's an organization where both sides are listening, both sides are delivering, both sides are working hard together. And I guess a real great example of that, a couple of examples actually, would be in January. Dan asked me to go with himself and me here to Hong Kong to hold a leaders meeting with some of the senior guys in the Chinese team. And Dan, his ears were open, and he listened to the leaders. He listened to the things that they were asking for. And that really is what led to the Momentum Tour, actually, and the Chinese version of it, which there's going to be near on 1,100 people at this weekend. And that's an absolute testimony to, one, Dan and me here listening and respecting what the leaders were saying, but then also that the leaders were loyal and they were able to be trusted to deliver those numbers. And look what happened. You get an absolute, our biggest event this year, I think, maybe, or maybe the second, because Mihir had a pretty big one. And Amir Barlas as well. I could have mentioned Amir, because Mihir and I spent time with him a week weekend before last in Istanbul at the Momentum event there, and we listened, and he listened, and we chatted, and we strategized, and he's come back from all his work there, and he held a meeting in the UK at the weekend, and he said he was going to, and he held a meeting. He had 40 odd people walk up to his meeting, and that's the start of the momentum that he needs to develop, for instance, the UK market. So there's someone again that you can respect, because he said he's going to do something and he's done it, and there's that mutual respect, there's mutual trust and mutual loyalty, and that's the key. If you want to build a massive network marketing business, not just in your own backyard but around the world, look for loyalty, trust and respect from your team, from the company, from your leaders. And if we all work together on that one, I can guarantee massive things will happen, and we'll look back to this year in a few years time and think, you know, how funny it was, the size of the business back then, because it would be so much bigger. Back to you, Dan.
Oh, thank you very much, Andy. And I think that's absolutely right, because when I go around and travel the world, and we all see the same things, me here and Andy and I, we see that the leadership thing that happens in a team of people is not built on working like animals, although that's part of it. It's not built on just activity. It's built on softer qualities, in other words, intangible qualities, and loyalty, trust and respect is certainly part of that. And when I look at the Pakistani business, for instance, what the Pakistani leaders have created over here, it's just rife with a culture that is so refreshing and such a joy to be part of, because the leaders work together as teams, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later on. But the Directors Program is part of that. The members are the heart of our business, and the Directors Program is not a passive income. It's a way for us to help people with expenses and help people who are building their business as measured by their weaker leg production, to gain more if they're working, if they're driving. If they're just sitting and cruising and taking it without doing anything, then yeah, don't be surprised if you don't get the Directors Program bonus. But this is very, very cool. Now, when we talk about loyalty, trust and respect, one of the things that we've been going on about for a long time now is gold. We've been talking about gold for a long time, and while I have Andy on the line, the gold is really his baby. This is something that we're introducing from a helicopter's view, if you like, from the overview for me. Gold is very important to the future of Leo, because it ties into crypto and digital. It ties into the banking. It ties into day 7, which you'll find out about in Mauritius, which is what I've been working furiously on. But Andy, can you just talk towards gold and where we are with that, in terms of our members have taken a lot on trust with this, and we've been talking about this for a long time, and they are starting to get it, aren't they?
Absolutely. Members all over the world are starting to get it. I mean, it really started, I would say, with some gusto over in Asia, when the teams there, as you'll see on the next slide, decided it would be a good idea to combine the gold package, or a gold package, with the DMS. And by combining it, their thinking was that they were introducing a new member to every opportunity and eventuality that was available with Leo at this time, because obviously by combining the two, you're exposing them to cryptocurrency and all of the benefits thereof, and that's very futuristic. It's you know, it's the now thing, the big buzzword. They're also able to participate in the normal compensation plan and also the autosave with gold compensation plan. Once we really got this message out to the members outside of Asia, then we started to see the take up of it coming from all directions. And it is a big opportunity too to revisit your list, because obviously, you know, you may well have contacted everybody on your list and spoken to them about Leo as regards education and regards to cryptocurrency and all the other things, and you may have been turned down, and that's okay, because we're not everybody's cup of tea. But when there's a new product or a new service introduced into the mix, the best thing to really do is then to really recall your list and say, look, you know, I know a year ago it wasn't the right time, but if the right thing came along at the right time, would you be open-minded enough to take a look? And then the person may well say yes, and then you've got an opportunity to talk to them about gold, and then back into all of the other things that we do within the ecosystem. So gold is really now starting to pick up, and that's very exciting. And also with the launch of the first ever pure gold Leo coin, which each and every one of you have the opportunity to purchase. Whether you get a discount or not will obviously depend on whether or not you have purchased a 12-month gold pack. But they're there and they're available. And the exciting news is that Dan will be presenting those that are purchased to the members that are in Mauritius. So, you know, you'll get sight of those. You may well be collecting your own if you've purchased your own and you're on your way to Mauritius. This is a very limited edition run. And the other thing is that the mold for this will be broken. Dan wants to actually break it on stage, and we're still trying to organize that to get the mold so that he can actually give it a good smack with a very large hammer and break it. So there won't be any more of these, and this coin is to commemorate the launch of Leo in front of the pyramids. So it's very, very exciting as part of a set. So really the call to action with gold is, if you have questions, then email us so that we can help you answer those or speak to team support. But you definitely should be looking to purchase your own gold pack so you can participate in the residual income that will come around from the autosave product. You also need to be looking to introduce at least 2 team members personally in the next 30 days and introduce them using gold and DMS as the way to do it, as the sales proposition to them. Revisit your list to do that, obviously. Help all of your team members to purchase a gold pack. It doesn't matter whether it's 1 month, 4 month, 12 month. We have a pack to suit every need and budget. And sign up to autosave yourself when it launches, which will be in Mauritius, that we'll be looking to launch all the finer details of those. And make sure that you attend the first Leo Gold Live Seminar Tour, because part of your package is obviously a ticket so that you can come along and be trained and certified so that you can actually go out and then market the gold autosave products. So very, very exciting times. And, you know, everything's now coming together, and with the announcements you'll be hearing in Mauritius from Dan and me here and all of the other keynote speakers, this is definitely going to be the breakthrough year for Leo. 2018 is going to be a year that we all look back on and see it as the year that we stepped over that line and started to really push all of your individual businesses forward together. And with that, I'll give you back to Mr. Dan.
Thank you very much, Andy, and I think that's absolutely right. I can hear in your voice that you're very, very excited about this now, because there is a sense that I certainly have of everything coming together now, and I think Mauritius is that time when these inert parts come together and form something called that we can call nitroglycerin, if you like, because I always like that metaphor for something being explosive is when you take 2 or 3 different kind of inert chemicals and put them together, and they turn into something that's absolutely explosive. And this is exactly what we are doing now. Now, in the overall scheme of things, part of what we're doing is obviously our education and everything else, but the digital market service has taken it life and so on, and we are very, very pleased to have Mihir Magudia on the call. So it's kind of me here and Andy. We're kind of the drivers of the marketing efforts of Leo, if you like. It's very, very nice that we can all 3 be on the same call. So Mihir, are you there?
Yes, I am, Dan. Thanks very much.
That's all good.
So the digital market service has been an absolutely cracking product for our members, for our company, since it launched in October. And we've been very, very pleased with how it's really changed or seen us drive a new sense of momentum throughout the business. I know lots of people came up to me in Istanbul, in Morocco, in Manila, in any of the number of places I've been in the last couple of weeks, talking about how excited they were about this new part of our business, how it fitted in so perfectly, and how they couldn't wait for the union between digital and gold that they hoped was coming down the line. And what we found is that the crypto markets are obviously incredibly volatile. They require a lot of second guessing, a lot of predictions, a lot of real analysis to decide when the right time is to trade, when the right time is to sell, what the best value of Bitcoin is going to be that month. A whole series of work and challenges goes in to the digital market service. And in March, with a daily falling Bitcoin price, with Ethereum slumping to some of its lowest levels in the last sort of 10 months or so, we were still able to deliver well within our estimates. We delivered a really strong result for our members, which has put us in a very, very nice position for the first 3 months of this product. And Dan and I were talking about it today, that the hedge against the volatility of Bitcoin that this product provides is remarkable. So much so that it has completely protected some of the purchasers from their entire purchase. So if we think back to November, you'll remember that the Bitcoin price was riding high, that people were very, very frothy about the market. Some people bought a digital market service in that month for about 0.09 0.091 Bitcoin, which at the time was obviously the price of the product. Since that time, obviously Bitcoin's gone down and up and up and down, and Ethereum's had a similar sort of journey. But those November customers, those November people who bought that product for 0.09 Bitcoins, have in the first 3 months of their DMS product got 0.1 Bitcoins back. So they've got more Bitcoin back in their reward than they spent on the product back in November. That's not a shabby way to protect yourself against an incredibly volatile currency, one that goes up and down at a moment's or even a few minutes' notice. And some of you will have noticed that it was, about a day and a half ago, maybe 2 days ago, the price of a Bitcoin jumped well over $1,000 in a matter of about 20 or 30 minutes. And no one knew at the time exactly why, and it sort of turned out that this was about a new report that said that Bitcoin was Sharia compliant, that it was in accordance with Islamic law. And this got people very, very excited, because there's obviously 140 billion people who live in Muslim-dominated countries. 1.4 billion people who live in Muslim-dominated countries, and suddenly these are a massive new market for Bitcoin, for digital currency, for Leo, because it's been declared Sharia compliant, it's been declared halal, if you will. And so people were very, very excited over the weekend when that happened, and you saw an instant response in the Bitcoin price and the price of lots and lots of other digital currencies like Ethereum and others. And so what we're finding is that we're still in the early stages of this market. This market is still subject to sudden twists and sudden turns. A good report here can shoot the price up. A bad announcement from the American authorities can really hurt it. But nonetheless, despite this volatility, despite this uncertainty in the market, the digital market service is absolutely delivering for its customers. And we hope and anticipate it will continue to do that for the rest of all of our members' contracts. So we've been very, very pleased about that product, and very, very keen to see what April can bring to us, our customers, and to Bitcoin and Ethereum this month. Dan, is there anything else you want to talk about the digital market service?
No, that's absolutely grand. I think that's just well captured there. We are soon going to start to do the marketing around this, but we've been obviously very, very low profile on the whole mining side of this, because there are sort of security concerns and competitive concerns. So there is going to be some very, very big reveals again in Mauritius for our leaders who qualified for that. But no, I think that you should leap ahead into the Leo Exchange, because there's some very, very exciting news there as well.
Yes, indeed. So with the Leo Exchange, we've added some very, very cool tools. So I know lots of people on this call are very active traders. I can see some of my friends in Philippines who seem to spend all day long day trading, margin trading, a lot of time in exchanges. And see some of my UK members here who also spend a lot of time, I know, on trading. And I'm sure there's more of you who I don't know do it all day, every day. So some of the tools that you'd expect from a big exchange weren't historically available from the Leo Exchange. We had a much simpler, much more straightforward user interface experience, but we weren't quite giving the right tools to the big traders who can drive the big volumes as well. So that's started to change significantly. The Leo Exchange has been getting a lot faster in the last sort of year or so, and over the next 6 months, you're going to see more and more additions to it, more and more trading pairs, more and more fiat options, more and more ways that more and more opportunities for people to participate in it. And one of the first things we've done is give a thing called the charting tool to people. And for those of you who trade regularly, those of you who trade on larger exchanges, you'll hopefully be very familiar with this tool. This tool is one of the fundamental things that marks an advanced exchange apart from a very basic starting exchange. It's one of the things that any trader who's used to trading every single day would expect as a straightforward thing to have on their platform. And so we started that journey now for the Leo exchange, turning it from an introductory exchange, an introduction to Leo coin, an introduction to crypto, and starting to add the tools that anyone would expect of a much more advanced exchange. And so we anticipate that will have impacts on the volume, impacts on the users, but really this is the first step in a journey over the next 6 months or so as we improve the Leo exchange and make it a much, much better, a much more robust and quicker trading platform. And that sort of segues me into another update on the Leo coin. So some of you who are staking your wallets might have noticed a bit of a challenge around the 1st of April, the 2nd of April, where maybe you didn't get the stake you were expecting. Maybe you saw some strange numbers in your wallet. You saw some odd network weight numbers. You saw some odd numbers of connections. A whole series of little numbers might have been different to the way you've expected them. What happened is that around the 1st and the 2nd of April, there was a very, very low network difficulty. And this means that not that many coins were being staked on those exact days. I think it was the bank holiday weekend. I think people weren't trading so much, people weren't staking so much. And we just found that there was a bit of a dip in the network difficulty. Now, we prefer, and it's good for every network, to have as many coins staking as possible. But sometimes you'll find that not so many coins are. And it seems that someone else noticed that that not many coins were staking. And when I say not many, only a few 100,000 were staking. So someone was able to collect 1 million, 1.5 million coins and use them to try and adjust the network, use them to try and adjust the blockchain, use them to create a series of things that are called orphan blocks. Now, I'm happy to report, I'm delighted to say that their attack was a complete failure, because the Leo coin blockchain is robust, the Leo coin network is robust, and all of their attacks, all of their attempts to adjust the blockchain were completely rejected. And so for about, I think, 7 or 8 seconds, maybe even a minute, they were able to create a massive number of fake Leo coins for themselves. But then within a minute or so, all of those fake Leo coins had been completely rejected by the network. They were back down to whatever their genuine balance should have been, and the network was again strong, robust, protected, and there was no problem at all. Just to reassure all of you, nobody in the world lost a single Leo coin that they should have got. Nobody in the world has missed out on a single Leo coin of staking that they should have received. Now, you may see some strange numbers in your wallets. You may see some odd things on network weight and with connections. That was just the system fixing itself. That was just the blockchain acting to protect itself, the network doing what it was supposed to be doing. Those problems should have now disappeared. If they still haven't, if you're not getting the stake that you think you should be getting, if you're getting less than you're used to or something, then the best thing to do is just to restart your wallet, perhaps even reinstall it. Just give it a couple of days, let the blockchain download again. It's much, much faster these days than it used to be anyway. And you should find that your wallet is back to working as it always should. And any missed coins, any lost coins you think you'd lost should automatically appear there. What we had in some of our markets is that people believed that they should have been getting 50 to 80% stake rewards. Now, this is obviously a ridiculously high number, but for some reason that expectation had been created. And so when people were only getting 20%, as they should do on 50,000 coins, they were complaining and making noise on social media saying that the staking wasn't working. The staking is working absolutely fine. And if you have 1,000 coins today, in a year's time, you'll end up with about 1,100 coins because you get 10% over the year on 1,000. If you have 50,000 coins today, then in about a year's time, you'll end up with 60,000 coins because you get 20% on a 50,000 coin stake. It's and obviously 15% on 5,000 as well. So it's very, very simple. It's working absolutely fine. And despite some funky numbers that you might have seen, I'm very reassured and I'm very pleased that the Leo coin network was able to resist what was a large attempted attack, but was also an attack that completely failed because the blockchain was robust, the code's robust, and it was an utter waste of time for the attacker, although it did cause some confusion amongst wallets. but that's nothing to be concerned about, and that will just right itself. So very, very pleased with that. Very, very pleased that Leo Exchange is moving forward and starting to get to be a better, more robust exchange. And there's lots and lots of cool things to talk about with Leo Coin, with the exchange, with obviously the MasterCards developing when we meet in Mauritius in about a week and a half, 2 weeks' time.
Very cool. So how do you segue then into PR?
Well, it's on the next slide, so it's handy. And so, speaking of some PR that's been happening recently, this is talkbusiness.co.uk, which is obviously a UK business magazine, and they were writing about networking for a certain type of people. Now, as I look down the names on this group of attendees, I see lots and lots of big personalities, lots of big characters, people who love to speak on stage, people who love to sort of own the room whenever they walk into it. And those people tend to be very, very good at networking. They tend to be good at those big, big events where they recruit lots of people en masse. But there are many different types of people, people with different skills, people with different approaches to networking. And there's opportunity for them in this business as well. There's opportunity for them in this industry. So Talk Business, we're writing about people who didn't like being at the front of the stage, people who didn't like large groups of people, perhaps preferred to talk one-on-one, perhaps preferred to do much smaller meetings or speak over the phone or something. And there's no reason why this group of people cannot succeed just as well as any other in network marketing. And so Talk Business, we're writing a story, writing an article about it, and decided that a comment from Leo was exactly the right thing to have. A comment from Leo was credible, was informed, was experienced, and so they wanted to include us in their article. So the article's there. You'll have been emailed about it as well, and you can look at it, share it, and read it, and perhaps there's some tips for some of you as well. So delighted to be asked to contribute to that piece, and obviously very, very pleased that we're being asked more and more for our view on the future of network marketing and our tips for others involved in this space.
Very cool. Now, because this is happening more and more as well, because I'm starting to get invitations to events in the crypto scene. I think as much as anything because of the House of Parliament events that we've done recently. Have you got an update on that side of life, our campaigning and advocacy for digital currencies at large?
Yes, indeed. So the all-party parliamentary group on digital currencies, which is something that we're helping. Well, we have helped to set up already, which is a group of members of Parliament, members of the House of Lords in the UK, who are getting together to talk about digital currencies, to influence regulations. That's continuing apace. We're planning out the program for the year, the events we're holding, the discussions we're having, the people we're inviting to speak to us, the officials in government, in Treasury, in the Cabinet Office, the Inland Revenue that we're all talking to about this market. And we're finding that people are very, very keen to talk to us. People are very excited about this space. I had a meeting at the Treasury a few weeks ago, I think, just before I was in, where was it, Morocco. And they're keen to learn, they're keen to understand. And so we're finding that our position as this representative organization for credible digital currencies has really given us more and more opportunities to talk about our business as well. It's given us more opportunities to talk about the Leo Coin Foundation, about Leo Coin, and about all of the work we're doing in this space. So it really is sort of a win-win situation, both for the sector, our members, and the company.
Very, very cool. No, I agree with that as well, because I think that we are getting to a place where we have some major credibility building now after our 6 years of banging the drum in this wasteland, I was going to say. But we kind of have this environment where people are coming to us about digital currencies. They're seeing that we have an independent exchange ourselves. They're seeing that Leo Coin is traded across many other platforms. They're seeing that we have a longevity track record now, both as a company, both in the context of education and e-learning, as well as our live seminar programs, and the credibility that we have from putting thousands of people through the room in so many diverse marketplaces, as well as our digital currency, and now that we're sort of doing the gold and everything else. And part of that is just hitting the road, just canvassing, just going out there and speaking. And I have to sort of give recognition to Andy and me here, because they really do hit the road and fly the flag for Leo in so many places around the world. And it's kind of part of the gig that we have to do. We kind of have to network. We kind of have to be proud of what we are, and we have to talk about it. And for every one of us on the corporate side, of course, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are doing the same for us in the field. Now, I have just come back from a trip to Pakistan, and I am so pleased with the next PowerPoint here, because the next slide here is showing an event that I did 3 weeks ago in Lahore. I haven't been to Pakistan for many, many years, but I have been here many, many times actually over the years. And me and Liaquat and Wakas, we organized this kind of top secret surprise thing. He was doing a leadership training in Lahore. There was 400 leaders in the room, and we had Dr. Moyes here, who's a bit of a celebrity and television personality, doing part of the training. And then he had this secret VIP guest, and this was none other than yours truly, Mr. Anderson. So if you look at the pictures on the slide there, you can see that these days I have a very distinguished looking bit of facial hair going on, and so I've got a beard on. But I walked into the back of this room, and I walked into the room, and you could literally the atmosphere was electric, and these things that are looking like sausages around my neck are actually flower garlands. And they were obviously set up to do this, but I received these things around my neck until my security people started to think that I'm going to break my neck or something here. They also put on a hat on me, which apparently means that I'm now a tribal elder of a particular Pakistani tribe or something like this. But it was a career highlight for me. It was one of the best things I've done in my entire professional life. Attended this meeting in Lahore, and I have to say thank you to all of the members. We had several leaders meetings, and we had dinner, and we had events around this thing as well. But I was able to do a training to this audience on entrepreneurship and my beliefs around what makes an entrepreneur, and the Pakistani field has this, I don't know, this really intangible thing that's quite hard to put your finger on, which is to do with what Andy was talking about before, that the quality of what Liaquat and Yasin Bhai and Yusuf and the other leaders here have created is a team that works as a team, and they respect each other, they trust each other, and they have a loyalty to each other that is just refreshing. In a world that's very cynical and twisted about how they view direct selling and the sort of business that we build, I think one of the things that is absolutely symptomatic of a successful organization is that it has a culture of trust and loyalty, and this is what I see in Pakistan. I think that some of our very, very best network leaders are in the Pakistani market, and I'm just a very, very proud leader of this business that is putting together people from so many different walks of life, and especially the Pakistani field inspires me with their positive attitude and their energy and their commitment to the Leo vision. So just wanted to share that with you, and if you think I'm sounding enthusiastic, it's because I am. They made me feel so welcome in Pakistan that I will remember it as one of my career highlights, like I say. So just absolutely fantastic. Now, we have an awful lot of events and things going on, and we're traveling the world, and we're beating the asphalt, most notably with the Momentum Tour in Asia, which is this coming weekend, and I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to this. There's going to be me here, Andy, and by a special news flash here, I've just had confirmation that Bernard Landy, our CFO, will also be on the ship. We have something like 1,100 qualifiers now for this cruise ship, and so we're basically taking over a ship, and we're doing training and briefings and leadership meetings on this cruise ship over a 3-day period, and it's going to be an absolute landmark for the Asia Pacific market. Obviously, Wendy will be there with her team. The strongest leaders that we have in the market will be there, and there will also be 500 or 600 new platinums who are part of new explosion that we're finding in Asia Pacific. The fact that our business is going so strong over there is good all around for our business in terms of Leo coin, in terms of the new launches that we're doing, in terms of day 7. There's a real momentum in the Leo business at the moment, and it's very, very cool that we're going there to do this cruise this weekend. So absolutely fantastic. But over and above that, we're also banging the drum in Africa. Oh God, I can't believe I even said that. But me and Andy, we're going to Abidjan in Ivory Coast, and I think we're also doing an event in Cameroon on the same trip, which again is going to be absolutely fantastic, because I'm a firm believer that Africa hasn't arrived yet in any sense. Oh, here's the Cameroon one. Yes, exactly. So we're doing a tough weekend there in May, going from one place to the other, but it's kind of an easy job to do because the energy and the attitude of these people is also so positive and so looking for opportunity, and such. They show so much appreciation to us for coming to their countries and to their markets, if you like, that it's just an easy thing to do. So looking forward to that. And then we have the carnival in Mauritius, which is kind of the week after next, I think. It's coming up incredibly fast now, and for all of you who qualified, I can't wait to see you over there, because there's going to be some major announcements coming through, so can't wait for that. And in conclusion, oh, I forgot, we have Morocco as well. October executive trip to Morocco. Now, Morocco is a magical place. It's one of those countries that needs to be on everyone's bucket list. We've had people there. They put their testimonials up on our platform. Go online and search these things out, because some of the things that they're saying, some of the passion that the Moroccans are giving to the wider Leo business is inspirational. And so we had this schedule, we had to rearrange it, and we went to Nepal instead because we had some visa issues and we had some scheduling issues with some of our Asia Pacific members. But we are now back on track for October, Morocco. Be there or be square. If you haven't gone executive, just go executive so you can join us there, because it's good for you and it's good for your family and it's good for your professional development. So basically, this was a fantastic webinar for me, a fantastic GAM. It's a pleasure to be doing it together with Andy and me here, because we kind of cover for each other. But every now and then the stars align in just such a way that we come together as one. And I think we should try to do this every week, me here and Andy, because I think it's just good. So thank you very much indeed, everyone. And thank you for being on the call. I look forward to speaking to you again next week. And all is good.